Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Today it's time for me to do a book review of Raising Steam, written by Terry Pratchett. This is a fantasy novel first published in 2013. This is the 40th Discworld novel of 41 in total, so it's the penultimate one, and it is the third novel of 3 based around the character of Moist von Lipwig. So first of all, what is the Discworld? It is, as you would guess, a round, flat, disc-shaped world with the oceans running over the edge and such, which rests on the back of 4 very large elephants, which by themselves stand on the back of a very large wild turtle called Grey Tuid, which swims through space as through each wild water. It's very strange and odd, but also very brilliant and funny. So, the book starts off with the stereotypical idea of a man wearing a flat cap with a sliding rule, working in a shed at the bottom of his garden, inventing something. And unsurprisingly, considering the fact that the book has got the word steam in it, the cover's got a steam engine in it, he is indeed inventing the steam engine. So, locomotion and trains are coming to the Discworld, finally. And obviously this Discworld is going to be a fun journey, metaphorically and literally. So, this man in the flat cap, called Dick Simnel, got a very sort of traditional and stereotypical name, frankly, which Pratchett makes fun of here. Indeed makes a working and successful steam engine, and realises that he needs basically more help to get this up and running, to be more than just, something that's going to sit in his shed and not really do a lot, frankly. In other words, he needs investment. So he goes to a logical place for him, and that is Ankh-Morpork, which is basically Discworld London. Terry Pratchett has taken every stereotype and trope about London over the years and turned some of them sideways, some of them completely on their head, and various other strange angles, and frankly he's just enjoyed himself talking about London, and that is what Ankh-Morpork is. So Mr. Simnel goes to London looking for essentially somebody to help support him and try and get more out of the steam engine that he's capable of. So he finds a man called Harry King, who is a well-known and well-respected businessman, and he manages to impress him, and together they start off the idea of making a train and tracks. However, it's only a very small scale to start with when it's just the two of them, because then the patrician of the city, Lord Havelock Vetinari, who is a very Machiavellian figure, with a thin face, a very particular type of beard, and he's like hyper intelligent, and he seems to have eyes, and basically his intelligence network seems to be extreme. He realises the potential of this because he's very forward thinking, and he calls upon one man, namely obviously the main character, frankly for the name of the book, and that is Moist von Lipwig. He's called upon him twice more in the past because Moist is a very good conman. So far, Vetinari has given him a choice that's not a choice, let's say, a very non-choice, of basically getting both the post office, followed by then the bank, or the Royal Mint, as you might want to call it, back up and running and back into the world, which he's done successfully. And now Vetinari is basically making Moist get involved in the railway, and basically he wants to make sure that it's done in a way that he can at least control or influence greatly. And with Moist he knows he can, because he's not exactly giving him a choice really. I mean, he might seem to, but he's giving him a choice of either do this or spend time with some kittens, and not in a normal way. So it's a very disturbing choice, so it's, Moist has to comply. And so Moist goes to see Harry King and Dick Simnel, and together basically they end up with this world's first railway company, and this big sort of epic adventure of essentially them trying to make a railway network across the plains to other cities outside Ankh-Morpork, basically connecting up the Discworld, or at least the initial stages of this. And this is revolutionary and really does change a lot of things about society, because yes, you may have communication between places, but now you have actual physical travel. And this can lead to some very interesting ideas and some very interesting problems, because there are various people, like for instance the dwarfs, because there is another set of people, the goblins, that I've introduced in the previous book, that turn out that they have a very sort of good aptitude for working around trains. The dwarfs don't like the fact that the goblins are getting accepted very easily into the train network and into societies quickly, when they are very old-fashioned. They are unwilling and unable to think ahead. They only want to live in the past, frankly, and so basically they want everybody else to live in the past with them. And frankly, they start trying to do sabotage, and they are not. Frankly, they're kind of the bad characters or bad guys of the novel, and it's a very interesting situation to be in. And there's politics involved, and obviously big sort of adventures with railway across countryside, and it's just fun, fast-paced, with some great ideas. And one of the great ideas, indeed one of the reasons that the book works so well, is the characters, because the character obviously of Mortis von Lippich again is a returning character. You know him as this very good con man. He actually isn't a unpleasant person at heart, though. He will actually try to help people when he can. You've got the new characters, obviously unique to this book, of Dick Simnel, an engineer, an inventor. You have the returning character of Harry King, who is a blatantly he's meant to be a these sort of Victorian investor that he's got a heart of gold, and he tries to do the right thing, and he's got his wife there that he wants to leave a certain legacy behind him. He wants to be more than the king of the Golden River, because his business, by the way, is essentially taking away the waste and from the toilets in the city, frankly, and the waste from anywhere else, which makes him a lot of money, but it's not the most illustrious reputation as such. He wants to be known for something more exciting, more honourable. And the railway will obviously do this because it's going to be moving people rather than moving their waste products, frankly. So he's very keen to make this name for himself, and as well as he's already got. And there are various other characters, so dwarf, obviously, unsurprisingly, Commander Samuel Vimes from the City Watch novels comes into play very lightly in this as well, because he's obviously the police force of the city, and the police force is definitely needed when you are trying to introduce a system that changes the way that society works, because people don't like it, frankly. At least some people don't, and they try to make their dislike well known and well publicised, often with violence, sadly. And the locations that they choose to show their displeasure is the other area where this book really shines, because again, world building is something T. Pratchett has always developed well and continues to do so, because Ankh-Morpork is a well-known city by this point. Almost half of the Discord books are set there. You think you know the city, and you do, but every time you go to Ankh-Morpork, there's always new aspects of the city. I mean, this is a very large city. I mean, this is meant to be Discord London after all, so there's a lot to the city, more than meets the eye. And every time he introduces new elements and new concepts that you didn't think of, but actually work extremely well, and frankly you get to love about the city. And this time you get to see quite a few people from the city going outside the city to the plains outside. making a railway, and specifically the one request of a veterinary is that he wants the railway to connect to a very specific location in Otherworld, which is basically kind of like the European sort of forests and sort of, Middle Eastern Europe, frankly. He wants trying to go there in particular for a reason that he's not really stating, although you do know, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's well known what this reason is. And it's an interesting situation for everybody involved, and with the location and the characters, it works extremely well. And all of this really helps to play into what Terry Pratchett is trying to say about the ideas or the themes of the book. The greater sort of delving into subject that he always does. In this case, this is about progress of a society, and in particular of does technology equal progress of a society? Because of course in our world, technological advancement is progress, is advancement is the future. He's trying to say, is it always progress, or is it progress, but you've got to keep in mind that progress isn't a straight journey. It's not just a case of, oh yes, you introduce a technology and then everything goes perfectly swimmingly well, no problems, everybody just accepts it, and everybody lives happily ever after. That doesn't happen ever. Every new technology has issues, because of course technology generally replaces an earlier form of technology which people are well used to, and obviously a lot of people have businesses and base their entire lives around and their legacies around. So when you introduce a new technology, it changes the system, you change dynamics, and this creates problems for people. And people don't like problems and they try to resist. So it's a case of finding the balance, and that's what he's talking about here. He's discussing the balance of technological advancement, changes it to a society, but changes at a pace that society can absorb. There's no point absorbing, introducing lots of technologies if a society can't absorb it fast enough, because you're just going to make the society unbalanced and systems will collapse quickly. And veterinary, for instance, is in this a fulcrum character where he's aware of this, that things can be unbalanced by technology, so he's trying to balance it, but he's trying to sit on the other end of the seesaw and make things even up. So it's an important point, and one that Terry Pratchett does extremely well. And the reason for this is because he's discussing as well the idea of looking to the future with your eye on the past, but not being fixed to that past. Yes, you can think, right, what's happened 50 years ago? How did the technology that we invented then develop and lead to where we are now? And how is that technology, which is now being replaced by some new form, how is that going to be perceived in time and indeed right now by the people living? Because it's not just about history, it's about the present as well. You've got to have people know how to use technology, and you've got to have them able to accept it. And the novel discusses these concepts extremely well, with humour and wit and great characters, and frankly a great and fun story, which I really did enjoy this novel overall. And overall, in summary, I would say it's well written, great characters, great story, busy great messages, and I would highly recommend this. Although, as the 40th Discord novel, the penultimate, yeah, I don't start with this. This would be strange. I mean, if you have to, then yes, I mean, reading any Discord novel is always recommended, but I really wouldn't. I mean, for the record, I will do a video in the future saying where I would personally maybe start with Discord, but for now, yeah, start with a slightly early Discord novel, not necessarily the first in the official sequence, just earlier than this. And with that said, that is actually it for this review. So if you've read this book or you'd like to, then please leave a comment and we can have a talk about it. If you'd like to know more, then again please leave a comment and I will try to answer and help to the best of my ability. And the link to the book on Goodreads, as well as all my social media links, can be found in the description box below, as they always are. And with that, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.